Hey, what's going on guys? Primal Cinder here with a new Valorant video, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining one of my most frequently asked questions about Cypher, and that is how do I attack on Cypher and feel like I'm going to have an impact on my team. I'll be putting timestamps in the descriptions on talking points for attacking, so if you already understand something you can skip to more information further on in the video. And with that, let's get started. So first things first, this is extremely important, especially on attack more than it is on defense. Making sure that your tripwires cannot be crouched or jumped over. If you place your tripwire through your head, very top usually, it protects that, but you have to think about the terrain, such as this bar that I just walked on and jumped over the tripwire. It can get your team killed. So you have to be very mindful of how you're placing your tripwires. So the next job is basically denying enemies from pushing. I've gone ahead and collected all of the tripwires that I normally place. These always change depending if the stuff needs to be changed, but I put my tripwire on ascent at A and B main. Same thing with split. On a split, I start A main first to put my tripwire down, because at B main there's only one spot where enemies cannot push unless they teleport without you knowing. So you always have to wait till the round starts for you to place the B main one. On bind, there are 4 tripwires I use, and it depends on where my team is going. If my team is going A, I place these first 2 trips that I'm showing now, and if my team is going B, I will place these trips as shown. It is important to think about where enemies are going to be peeking and where your team is playing, because you don't always need 2 tripwires. It's good to save them if you don't need them. If a player's playing A, your whole team's going A, you may not even need tripwires there. On Haven, I put my tripwires almost always C and A main. You can't put the A main tripwire, it can't really be dodged until the round starts, kind of similarly to split, but it is a great setup nonetheless. Now if this is fast, you can go back in the timestamp that I provided, but the importance of these tripwires is to stop enemies if they're pushing from catching your team off guard. You can adjust and adapt to how enemies are playing if you do or don't need them, but tripwiring is Cypher's strongest point on attack. Now besides tripwiring and holding flanks with Cypher, another very important part is using camera to flush out enemies and clearing angles for your team for free without any risk of dying. I showed just now clearing hookah, which is a common thing you'll be doing, and clearing long. Usually there'll be players with shotguns in there, or you'll see a person posted up long, or even if you're trying to take bathroom. A very good thing to do if you're taking A is to have someone go bathroom and clear everything, and then just sit there and kill people as they're trying to take A back from the site after it's already been planted. So a lot of these angles that you'll see me clear Cypher are either a really good lurk potential or really good team play potential with his camera. To quickly summarize, you should really be using Cypher's camera to keep info and gather that, clearing angles to minimize the amount of risk your team has to take when taking map control, and punish enemies for poor positioning. In a lot of these situations, your camera, whenever you're clearing angles, is going to get destroyed instantly, but the information that you gather from it should be invaluable and worth it, so don't be afraid to use it whenever you have it on attack. Though Cypher is not a brimstone, Cypher and his cages kind of act the same way a brimstone would in a lot of scenarios. Cypher's cages are extremely important, and there are several instances where on attack you will want to use them to fake out enemies, or to get yourself into a position either to lurk or get your team up close to a site so that you can take it very fast without the enemies rotating. Good examples for you to be using this is Haven on A. You can smoke the cross where players usually like to opt so that your team can go up short, or you yourself can if you're bullying a Cypher, because that is a common job of Cypher. Or on split, you can smoke a connector where people like to opt from screens so that you can cross and save your team some time. Cypher has a lot of ways that you can use his cages, but those are the most common ones. On top of that, what I like to do, and I don't see this very often, is I will sometimes just throw both my cages in a path and run through my own smoke and just surprise the heck out the enemies. Routinely it'll get me a kill or 2, maybe it'll even get me all the way into the enemy spawn without them realizing. Now this is super situational and I wouldn't always recommend it, but any of the things that I just mentioned for Cypher cages are things that you should be thinking about and adapting to. I know we mentioned cameras before, but post-plant Cypher is one of the hardest things to fight against. We're going to bring this back up again because This is 100% something I don't even see in a lot of my games when other people take Cypher away from me. Whenever you have your bomb down, do not be afraid to plant your camera down near the bomb. What this basically does is, as soon as the bomb is planted and people get near it, what they're going to start doing is faking or committing. Whenever you have camera there, you don't even need to go into your camera. What you can do is wait for them to tap, instantly hit them with a dart, and now you know for the next 5-10 seconds, which is extremely valuable during post plant, if they're even committing for it or not. It allows you to hide and stall longer time, and they have to take dart out, or they have to try and challenge you while they have dart in them, putting them at a massive disadvantage. So we've talked about Cypher's utility and how to use it properly. The last thing we really want to talk about are the two different types of playstyles Cypher can fit in. So first, he's a great team player using his smokes, his cameras, his tripwires, stuff like that, but he's also a fantastic lurking character. Lurking is whenever you are usually playing solo away from your team, usually across the other side of the map, and exploiting the loopholes your enemies give you whenever they're rotating, smoking, or doing something very predictable. The reason Cypher is such a good lurker is because of the utility he has and the pressure he has. He can smoke himself out of really risky positions where he may be close to dying. His camera can give intel on how players are moving around the map through sound cues or just visually. And on top of that, if you're lurking as Cypher and you manage to get a kill whenever you hear enemies rotating, you can ult, and that gives your team full map awareness and they're able to execute off of your lurk, which gives you immense value as a lurker. Now, it is hard to distinguish at lower elos and lower brackets whenever you should be lurking, whenever you should play with your team, but the better you get at Cypher, the easier it will be for you to gauge when you should be lurking or when you should be with your team. Another way Cypher can lurk, and this is something that I find a lot of good Cyphers will do, is Cypher is really good at bullying other Cypher players. You understand how his tripwires work, where he's going to place them, and routinely you should be bullying other Cyphers by destroying their cameras, by destroying tripwires, like smoking yourself near a tripwire so you can destroy it, run back. This creates immense map pressure against the Cypher and can allow you to set up your team for a win, not through kills, but just map pressure and bullying other Cyphers. This is something I will routinely do, especially on Haven. I'll just go up base short, destroy his tripwires, his camera, and if my team wants to go A, that's great. If they don't, that's awesome as well, because he has no info, so it keeps them guessing. Those are all the tips I have for attacking on Cypher. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I will be posting way more educational content to this channel, as well as gameplays and highlights. So if you like what you see, share, subscribe, comment. Getting this out to other people will definitely help them enjoy Cypher way more. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.